Chris Watts, the Colorado family annihilator, the truth behind the smiles. Sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones who smile for the camera. They take family photos, kiss their children goodnight, and post perfect life updates on social media, all while hiding the darkness growing inside them. In August of 2018, America was shaken by a story so cold, so calculated, and so heartbreaking that it forced the world to question how well we ever know the people closest to us. This is the full, unfiltered story of Chris Watts, the man who murdered his pregnant wife and 2 little daughters, while pretending to be the perfect father. Chris Watts and Shanann met in 2010 and married 2 years later. They settled in Frederick, Colorado, a quiet, suburban neighborhood where families waved at each other and kids played on the sidewalks. On social media, Shanann proudly showed her life. Her husband, Chris, their 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste, and her growing baby bump. To the outside world, they were a beautiful, loving family. But behind the smiles, cracks were spreading. Shanann sensed something changing. Chris had become distant, emotionless, disconnected. He started working out more, changing his appearance, and spending unexplained hours away from home. What Shanann didn't know was that Chris was having an affair with a coworker, Nicole Kessinger. Their relationship was intense, passionate, and secret. Chris told her he was almost divorced. He lied effortlessly, and the deeper he sank into that fantasy life, the more he wanted to erase the one he already had. On the night of August 12, 2018, Shanann returned home from a business trip. Surveillance footage shows her stepping into her house for the very last time, at 1:48 a.m. What happened next remains one of the darkest acts in modern true crime history. Chris later claimed they argued, but the evidence strongly suggests something else. Shanann never had a chance to defend herself. Chris strangled her, possibly while she slept or shortly after she entered the home. No struggle marks. No chance to scream. He carried her lifeless body down the stairs and into his work truck. And then he went back upstairs. What happened next is almost unbearable to say. 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste were still alive. Chris placed his 2 daughters, confused, half asleep, into the truck with their mother's body laid on the floor. As he drove to a remote oil site, Bella asked a question that would haunt investigators forever. "What's wrong with Mommy?" Hours later, at the oil field, Chris murdered his daughters, each in a separate act of horror. Autopsy reports confirm Bella fought for her life. She fought her own father, the man she trusted most. Chris then dumped his daughters into 2 different oil tanks and buried Shanann in a shallow grave nearby. This was not rage. This was calculated. By morning, Chris was already crafting his lie. He acted concerned. He texted Shanann repeatedly, knowing she'd never respond. He called her phone, knowing she'd never answer. But his plan collapsed almost instantly, thanks to one woman, Nicole Atkinson, Shanann's friend. She came to the house after Shanann missed a doctor's appointment. She demanded police do a welfare check. She refused to leave, sensing something evil lurking beneath Chris's calmness. Police body cam footage caught everything. Chris pacing. Chris avoiding eye contact. Chris showing zero real concern. Then, a neighbor showed detectives security footage of Chris backing his truck into the garage, something he never did before. The neighbor whispered to police, "He's not acting right." Chris knew the walls were closing in. In a stunning move, Chris agreed to take a polygraph. He failed within minutes. The polygraph examiner leaned forward and said, "There's no way you can fail this test if you're telling the truth." Chris broke, but even then he tried to twist the narrative, claiming Shanann killed the children. Investigators knew instantly that was a lie. With pressure mounting, Chris finally confessed. He killed Shanann. He killed Bella. He killed Celeste. And he disposed of all 3 at his worksite. The case was closed. In November 2018, Chris Watts pled guilty to multiple counts of first-degree murder, unlawful termination of pregnancy, and tampering with deceased bodies. The judge sentenced him to 5 life sentences without parole, plus additional years. He will never walk free again. Chris Watts wasn't a monster in the shadows. He wasn't a stranger breaking into a home. He wasn't the kind of killer people warn you about. He was a husband, a father, a man who smiled in photos and blended into normal life until the day he destroyed everything. His case stands as one of the most chilling reminders that evil doesn't always look dangerous. Sometimes it looks familiar. Sometimes it looks gentle. Sometimes it looks like a smile. Thank you for watching. If you found this story important, disturbing, or eye-opening, subscribe for more true crime stories told with clarity, truth, and respect.